in Louisiana, the state there, the governor wants to place the Ten Commandments in all public schools and state-run colleges, and I think that's terrific. I mean, it's certainly a step in the right direction. A lot of folks don't see it that way. The Ten Commandments, that's about religion. That's about spoiling all my fun and having a good time. I actually finally came to realize that the guidelines in the Bible, the commandments, they're actually meant not to prevent us from having a good time, but actually to protect us and maximize our joy. Not saying I always meet up to those standards, but anyway, that's what I've come to understand. So what could be wrong with putting the Ten Commandments in classrooms?
Well, there's absolutely nothing wrong with putting the Ten Commandments in classrooms. Welcome back, Warriors. It's me, Linda B. Thank you all so much for joining me here today. Today, we are talking about a lot of things. Talking about the Ten Commandments and talking about Judge Merchan will probably put Donald Trump in jail. Before we get into it, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell, watch the video to the end, and don't forget to visit the website childlightcandles.com and input the discount code LindaB. This is a veteran and Christian-owned company who gives 25% of its profits to homeless veterans and their families. Now, let's get back into it.
Pretty much everything if you talk to the secular world. What is wrong? The commandments. What is right? Drag time story hour in the classroom. That's somehow a civil right, not the Ten Commandments. Black Lives Matter flag and their anti-family socialist message, no problem. LGBTQ plus IA whatever, of course, that is mandatory. I'm pretty sure some school districts have made it mandatory. And what about the fighting in class and school all over the place? That's just something we've come to endure, expect, I guess, right? It amuses us on social media. No, it should disturb us, and there should be a national discussion on combating school violence. But no, the only national discussion happening right now about the classroom is this one.
It is unconstitutional to have the Ten Commandments in public classrooms.
The correlation between book burners and people that want the Ten Commandments is high.
This is a concerted and manufactured effort.
This is religious coercion.
It's just foolish legislation.
You know, the left gets those klefty lefties, as I like to call them, are always saying that Christianity is fascist. This is coercion. This is unconstitutional. When the Constitution clearly states freedom of religion. And if my religion is Christianity, I should be able to, worship as I see fit. And at one point, prayer was in schools until those dirty demon rats took prayer out of schools in 1962. Yes, remember the Democrats take God out of everything and they control the media. Notice the media and the Democrats always agree unless you are dealing with a conservative news outlet. Other than that, the demon rats and the mainstream, well, it's the propaganda media, always agree. Always.
It's really just an intimidation tactic. I think it's bullying.
It's extreme. It's exclusionary. It undermines religious freedoms. It's unnecessary.
Unnecessary, extreme, undermining everything. I'll show you what undermines everything. The monsters in the classroom. Okay, the track time story hour. I can't find that in the Constitution. Can you?
I can't find that in the Constitution either. Look at that man right there dressed up as some kind of freak. It looks like a devil. He looks like a painted devil. And that's a child, a small child. See, this is what's going on. The devil is after our children. That's why you see it at young ages in the classrooms. They're grooming them to think a certain way, to be a certain way with their bodies, if you know what I mean. With the alphabet community. Yes, the Democrats are satanic. And I don't know how anybody could vote for them and still be a Christian at the same time, unless you are brainwashed by the propaganda media. because the propaganda media is very good at what they do. They got me not to vote for Donald Trump, but look at me now. Okay, because I know better. I prayed about it, and the Lord made it very clear what's really going on with our country and lawfare being used against the former president because he wants to do the right thing. And the left are extremely afraid of Donald Trump, not just because he could retaliate against them and end their gravy train, because their money-making gravy train has made them super rich, ultra rich. But the thing that bothers them too is that everybody is going to eventually find out that they've been lying. And Donald Trump is going to show them up for what they have never done for the communities that they pander to. Particularly, I'm talking about Black Americans. The Democrats love to pander. They come around every 2 to 4 years, say a smooth talk, call the other guys racist, and we vote for them and you get the same thing. That's the definition, the true definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. You are never going to get it because by definition, the Democrat Party is paid not to do anything. You have Black Democrats, particularly over major cities. Oh, you can look at Detroit, New York, Chicago. You can see a Black Democrat who is getting their pockets padded not to do anything. Brandon Johnson, who is the mayor of Chicago, just stands there like an idiot at the town hall meetings where everybody is just up in arms about the illegal immigrants taking away their resources. They can't even send their children to school. They can't even go to a park. And they can't even have safety in their neighborhoods. The illegal immigrants are taking over, and I put the emphasis on illegal. Those of us on the right, including Donald Trump, we are okay with immigration. We're just not okay with illegal immigration. They need to be vetted. They need to come through the proper channels. And that is what Donald Trump says all the time. But these lying lefties, these lying klepty lefties always say it's anti-immigrant rhetoric, like Jake Tapper did on CNN. Hush, Jake Tapper. Just hush.
The threat. The other thing is our salvation, perhaps. I really like Governor Landry, and listen to the voice, right? I mean, I knew the Cajun accent, but this is special. This sounds like Huey Long or something like that, and I love the guy.
This bill mandates the display of the 10 Commandments in every classroom in public, elementary, secondary, and post-education schools in the state of Louisiana. Because if you want to respect the rule of law, you got to start from the original lawgiver, which was Moses.
How about that, huh? I like him a lot. And it is a step in the right direction. Will it make a difference? That's another question. I mean, look at the classroom back in the olden days, right? I mean, order, obedience, people were paying attention, no cell phones. And before that, it was really strict, maybe even a bit too strict. These days, everything is different. And the challenges for the children, they're not at fault. I mean, the culture has gone corrupt and is creeping in there. And not only that, every kid has one of these damn cell phones in their pocket and access to just about everything. Is it really going to do any harm to have those commandments on the wall? My greater concern, how much good will it do? I want it to do a lot of good. Will it? In this world? How about this? All of the furor right now about this matter, the number one TV show in America is this one, Evil. You don't see any debates on TV about the Evil TV show, right? I don't know anything about it, but it's kind of...
You know, that's the thing, that people who are really paying attention need to realize that the satanic evil things no one's complaining about. At one point, decades ago, parents were complaining about the lyrics in certain rap songs. They wanted a parent advisory label on the music. You all may remember that. You know, there was an outcry when there was evil. Now there is no outcry. If there is, I don't hear it. I don't hear it. Like, where's the outcry against evil? And when we try to say something, they do suppress us. They do suspend our accounts or block our content. So wrong. But when you try to put the 10 Commandments in there, oh, wow, even the ACLU has a hissy fit saying that it doesn't belong. The American Civil Liberties Union says that the Ten Commandments just doesn't belong. Just want to show you all this right here. This is an article from The Guardian. This is showing where the ACLU sues Louisiana over requiring the display of 10 Commandments in public schools. The state recently passed a law requiring that all public schools display the 10 Commandments in every classroom. U.S. civil liberties groups have sued Louisiana for what they called is blatantly unconstitutional new law requiring all state-funded schools to display the 10 Commandments in classrooms. The American Civil Liberties Union joined with its Louisiana affiliate and two other bodies, Americans United for Separation of Church and State and the Freedom from Religion Foundation. Notice they want Freedom from Religion Foundation for the suit against the law, signed on Wednesday by the state's right-wing Republican Governor Jeff Landry. Crazy. Landry, who succeeded the former Democratic Governor John Bel Edwards in January, provocatively declared after signing the statute, "I can't wait to be sued." That's right. The four groups immediately took him up on his challenge by announcing they were doing precisely that. We're suing Louisiana for requiring all public schools to display the 10 Commandments in every classroom. The ACLU posted on X, formerly Twitter, public schools are not Sunday schools. This is ACLU on their X account. Breaking. We're suing Louisiana for requiring all public schools to display the 10 Commandments in every classroom. Public schools are not Sunday schools. Wow. Where was all the suing going on when they put those ugly drag queens in the elementary schools? Christians, why aren't we suing? Why?
And my gut tells me that President Trump is going to go to jail. There is a possibility that juror misconduct happened, and that can be established. The whole thing gets thrown out. At this point, it doesn't look like that's going to happen. And I don't believe the liberal legal analysts. I think they're playing a game with us when they say a first-time offender at his age should not go to jail and will not go to jail. Right, but it's going to happen here. They're playing a game.
Merchan is not going to give him a prison sentence. I think it's more likely that there will perhaps be a fine.
I don't expect that we will see Donald Trump behind bars.
Maybe he'll get some house arrest at Mar-a-Lago, but he's not going to be wearing an orange jumpsuit anytime soon.
That is what bothers me, because typically, if you've been paying attention, when the left says this is what's going to happen, the opposite thing happens. Yeah. Every time the left, like when they said Donald Trump wasn't going to beat Hillary Clinton, they were picking on Donald Trump. He won. He won the 2016 presidential election. We were all there. I was in my TDS years. I wasn't happy. Didn't like Hillary, but I disliked Donald Trump more. But things have changed. I realized I was being lied to, hoodwinked. Yes, I was flabbergasted to find out the truth. But now that the left is saying that, oh, he's probably not going to do any time. Oh, I'm like, oh my gosh, he is going to do time, because everything they say, the opposite turns out to be true. So remember that when the propaganda left-leaning secular media tells you to do something, don't do it. If they tell you don't do something, do it. More than likely, you'll be right. Going with that logic, you'll be right.
Soon.
I wish they were telling the truth. Look at what they did. They brought him to court on these bogus charges. The trial lasted, 6 weeks? Totally meritless on stuff that didn't happen in 2006. Business expense versus legal expense. I mean, it is beyond belief what they did. Why wouldn't they go the next step? Of course they're going to go the next step. Send them to jail. And this judge is suddenly going to do the right thing, be reasonable, be rational, be judicial. He gave money to Joe Biden. And he got money, at least his daughter did, from Democrats like Adam Schiff, like Congressman Golden. I mean, lots and lots of money, maybe over $1 million to the firm run by the judge's daughter. Well, why isn't this a bigger deal? The New York Times won't report it. The New York Times has given him and every other corrupt Democrat, it seems, a great big fat pass. So if the New York Times doesn't make it a story, guess what? It's not a story. And the New York Times is not going to call this guy out or portray him in a negative light for putting Trump in jail. No, he'll be a hero to the left, an absolute hero. So it could be Rikers Island, actually, July 11th. And I don't think he'll be in the jail cell with other guys, but possibly a specialized trailer. I heard that the Secret Service is actually in discussions about this, or house arrest, not in Mar-a-Lago like that guy said, but Bedminster. That could happen. I don't really like James Comey, but this is one of the instances where I think overall he's on to something.
I would ordinarily say it's unlikely in a white-collar offense of this sort, but this is a defendant who's begging for a jail term by taking a flamethrower not just to the judge, but to the entire process and the jury. A judge will take that very seriously into consideration in deciding whether to deter this person and to send a message more broadly. He needs to spend some time behind bars.
Tough guy, huh? Spend some time behind bars to adjust your attitude. Imagine that, Donald Trump having an attitude. They create a corrupt, outrageous trial and then penalize you for objecting to the corrupt and outrageous trial, just like the swamp. Something else Comey said, white supremacy. Think about it for a moment. When's the last white supremacy thing we've seen in America? That wasn't fake. That wasn't Lincoln Project. That wasn't that stunt in Idaho. That wasn't something weird. There hasn't been. It's zero. Said something, though, that it's coming. Watch this.
Domestic terrorism, white identity extremism, and it will not be old-fashioned come next May, unfortunately.
Next May 2025, what's going on? What's in the works? The FBI, as you know, had all kinds of people there on January 6th. Just saying, that was weird. Something else about this, they're sending him to jail, and they're going to accuse us, they do accuse us of racism, right, by questioning Joe Biden's involvement. This is a laugh, even for the fake news. Talk about a stretch.
He is continuing to push a narrative that, as I've written and others have, is extraordinarily dangerous, tying the current president to the prosecution in Manhattan by somehow alleging that the Biden administration, and specifically the Department of Justice, was pulling Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg's strings. How? Through a career civil litigator named Matthew Colangelo, who is part of the DA's team, but certainly not its head. For a variety of reasons, that narrative makes no sense. It is factually false, and it's also dangerously and perniciously racist because it assumes that DA Alvin Bragg, who is black, could not have executed this prosecution on his own without the supervision of a bunch of white elders.
It says right here, the left throws race into the conversation, of course. They always throw race into the conversation, where they injected into the conversation where no one was even thinking or talking about that. They're racially divisive on the left. There's far more racism on the left, and they usually do it through that soft racism of low expectation. You remember Governor Hochul of New York saying Black kids in the Bronx don't even know what a computer is. And the man on the street interviews where liberals were saying, Black people, well, they don't know how to get to the DMV. They don't have data on their smartphones. They don't know how to use the computer. That's racism. Yeah. Like what Jim Crow Joe said, if you have trouble figuring out whether or not you want to vote for me, then you ain't Black. Well, I guess I'm not Black then, because I'm not voting for you. But I'm Black, clearly. I'm Black. For somebody get in the comments, you said you're not Black. I'm Black. Just get over yourself.
What's that movie? I am shocked that there's gambling going on here. You're winning, sir. That guy she mentioned, Colangelo, came from the Department of Justice. Opening statements. He did the opening statements in this trial. And there he was, the third highest ranking dude in the Department of Justice. And then he leaves the same day that Jack Smith was appointed and demotes himself to, it's so rotten. Now let's talk about race, actually. You notice anything here? Sorry, but she went there first. 3 of the 4 prosecutors happen to be people of color. And you know why they did this? I think it's part of their thinking, casting along these lines, making it harder, they believe, for people to criticize because the left, they only see race, and they think that it would be more difficult or awkward for people to criticize. This is how they think. It certainly isn't how I think.
Guys, it's crazy out here. We have so much to be thankful for in this country. And that this whole entire video segment, I hope you guys really enjoyed it. But I have to say, we have to just keep our eyes open to what the clefty lefties are doing to us. Those of us who are conservative, who are Christian, making us feel bad for worshiping God the way we see fit, saying it's against our freedom of religion. The ACLU wants to sue Louisiana. You've got Trump going through all these bogus, all these cases that he had to go through, and now he could be facing prison. Do you think Judge Merchan is actually going to sentence him to prison? I pray something miraculous happens before then. The sentencing is, as you know, the sentencing is on July the 11th. We have less than a month, just maybe about 3 weeks to go. And then the former president, who was probably one of the best presidents since Abraham Lincoln, faces a possible prison sentence. And they're trying to pass that bill to take away, Secret Service protection. And someone commented in the comments, well, he can just afford his own security. Well, they put that in the bill too. Those demon rats thought of that. They said that the former president must depend on the security of the prison. Yeah, they thought of everything. So that's what we're facing right now. Liberties being taken away, freedom of religion, free speech, gun ownership, and everything else. And the media is owned by those clefty lefties, those demon rats. Well, that's it for today's video. You all be blessed. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Visit childlightcandles.com and input the discount code LindaB. This is a Christian veteran-owned company. Yes, everything is made right here in America. These are great candles. I have one. It's amazing. Their frankincense and myrrh is their best seller. So go check them out. And don't forget, you can email me as well. ChatWithMeLindaB. You all be blessed. Love God, your families, these United States of America. And as I always say, march on, warriors.